Man hits speeds over 115 miles per hour before crashing. Washington County School Board plans adjustments to firearms safety instruction. And your weekend weather forecast with highs, lows, and everything you need to know for the days ahead.
You're watching St. George News at 5, brought to you by our studio sponsor, We Win Injury Law.
Good afternoon, I'm Monica McLaughlin. A hurricane man was arrested after a high-speed pursuit along State Route 9 that ended in a crash near Springdale. According to court documents, 22-year-old Victor Zarazua Romero allegedly passed multiple vehicles, including a Springdale police officer, using the shoulder and reached speeds over 115 miles per hour before crashing and fleeing on foot. Authorities later found the man near the Virgin River after he called 911 to turn himself in. He was booked on charges including felony, evading, and reckless driving and has since been released pending a court appearance set for June 2nd. The Washington County School Board reflected on several new state laws and praised their direct involvement with lawmakers during the 2025 Utah legislative session. Here's Nick Fiala with more on how the district is preparing to implement those changes.
The Washington County Board of Education discussed several new laws last week which were passed by the Utah legislature during this year's session. District Superintendent Richard Holmes described how the district can accommodate House Bill 104, firearms safety in schools.
I think at first we were worried about the time and it consuming just one more thing, but it's fairly simple. It has to be done once in elementary school, I think a couple of times in the intermediate or middle, and then one in the high school. There's a short 10-minute video that they show to students that you can use that to meet your minimum requirement.
Another law of concern was House Bill 161, school bus route amendments.
It will help, but there'll be some discomfort a little bit because it's a change in a student having access to buses. So now it is grades 1 through 5 are eligible for 1.5 miles, and thereafter 6 on up is 2 miles. The current law was K through 6, 1.5, and then they shifted that. Now it's 6th grade. The only way they're eligible for a bus is if they're 2 miles away from the bus. But we always fought that conflict because if you had a 6th grader and a 7th grader within the same family, your 6th grader could ride the bus for a year, but then the next year, but the sibling couldn't because they were in 7th grade. This does clean that up a little bit.
Ultimately, the school board is very satisfied with how this year's session turned out, and the members saw the importance of speaking directly to state lawmakers.
I don't think they could have done any better. Super pleased with their work and efforts. It's not an easy job they have.
And I believe that the relationships we have with them have meaning, and you just get those by being face to face. So I think I would always advocate that we spend some time out there talking to them. And
I'm very grateful.
Answering questions and expressing our opinions. I think it's very meaningful.
Thanks, Nick. Let's take a look at your weekend weather forecast, brought to you by Casablanca Resort and Casino. Right now in St. George, temperatures are sitting at 92 degrees. Tonight's low will drop to around 58. Saturday brings sunshine with a high near 88 and a low of 58, followed by partly cloudy skies on Sunday with a high of 85 and a low of 53. In Mesquite, it's currently 95 degrees and warming up. Expect a mild evening with a low of 64. On Saturday, highs will reach 93 degrees with a nighttime low of 63. Sundays stay warm but slightly cooler with a high near 89 degrees and a low around 61. And in Cedar City, temperatures are currently 77 degrees. Tonight, expect a cooler low of 52 degrees. Saturday's high is forecast at 74 degrees with a low of 40 degrees. And Sunday will be breezy with a high near 68 and a low of 35. The Washington City Council has approved zoning changes and a revised development agreement for the Stookie Farms Master Planned Community, a project that spans nearly 600 acres. Updates to the plan include increased housing density, new hospitality and vacation rental units, and reduced water usage for recreational lakes, with developers agreeing not to use city municipal water. A final vote passed 3-2 after months of public input and revisions, with city leaders saying the changes strike a balance between economic growth and community concerns. The Cedar City Council has renewed its agreement with the state's cooperative wildfire system, ensuring continued access to wildfire suppression resources in exchange for in-kind contributions from the fire department. For more on how the program protects the city and what it means during fire season, here's Alicia Lundgren.
Cedar City has re-upped an agreement with the state, giving them access to statewide wildfire suppression resources. The agreement allows the Cedar City Fire Department to continue its participation in the cooperative wildfire system, which Fire Chief Mike Phillips said operates like an insurance policy.
What that allows us to do is, if we have a large fire, you remember the fire we had out in Enoch by the church this last summer? Mm-hmm. So I ordered up aircraft on that. Now, this is the scary part for me, is if we didn't have this insurance policy, when I order aircraft, I'm responsible for the cost of all of that.
The department pays for the program via in-kind work and purchases. For instance, fuels reduction work along Cody Drive will count as a $5,000 in-kind contribution toward the policy.
Thank you for watching St. George News at 5. To learn more about our studio sponsor, We Win Injury Law, go to WeWinInjuryLaw.com. I'm Monica McLaughlin with St. George News, your #1 source for local news.
This has been St. George News at 5, brought to you by We Win Injury Law.